Welcome to Fit to Be Real.
And a little extra.
We're talking about weights and muscle mass today.
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Why? Well, we love a good fitness episode, and we feel like we haven't done one in a while, but we also wanted to bring this up because...
That was very truthful. Yeah, that's good.
Listen, I'm here to be honest.
No, that's good.
Because we feel that people are a little afraid of lifting weights, and we don't want you to be afraid.
There's a stigma.
Yeah. There's so many benefits to women lifting weights, and we don't want you to be scared anymore.
I think for a long time, it was, if I lift weights, my neck's going to get really big and I'm going to look like a man. And, you know, my whole build is going to change. And that's not what I want. And that's not true.
Do you know what somebody said to us one time, which is the biggest misinformation and was completely wrong? But they said, we stopped doing your ballet bod class because it was making me look like a football player.
No.
And
impossible.
It's impossible.
Scientifically impossible for 1 to 2 pound weights to do that to your body.
Right. But that's what a lot of people think.
Yes.
And so that's why we're talking about it today.
And I think another misconstrued concept is that I want to lose weight so I can only do cardio.
Mm-hmm.
And that couldn't be farther from the truth. Now, we do accountability, and we have a program where we require cardio in the first few weeks. Really, that's because you have to start to train yourself to be active, because a routine for activity is not already in your body or in your mindset or in your schedule. So cardio, by going for a walk or going to an AC Fit class and doing something vigorous, which you can go at your own pace and build up as you go, that's very, very important. And then we start adding weights into the mix, because weights are crucial for weight loss and muscle mass. And we'll get into it.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm Victoria.
Hey guys, I'm Carly.
And there's so much to this. There's so much information when it comes to muscle mass, when it comes to weight training or resistance training, which is just adding an external load to your body. And what that means is resistance training can be resistance bands, it can be weights, it can be machines at the gym, and it can be your own body weight, i.e. push-ups, burpees, stuff like that.
Love a burpee.
As much as burpees are cardio, they are strength training.
You're using your body. Body weight is hard.
Yeah, I bet, yes. And it's funny because I always talk about Billy with this, is that Billy can lift like 5,000 million pounds above his head.
Mm-hmm.
And whether he's doing it for 1 rep and it's like this huge accomplishment, or he's doing 1,000,000 reps, it's still a lot of weight that CrossFit people can do, and it's a different world. But you put him in a ballet bar class.
Oh my God, no.
And he cannot hold his arms out for 3.5 minutes with a 1 to 2 pound weight.
No. And he is jacked.
And so he's the epitome of muscle and health. But if you're not training your body to do a specific type of thing, you can't just do everything.
Right.
Like if you're not a runner, you can't just, because you're in good shape, you can't just start running and be like, I'm a long distance runner.
No, and I think that's people's misconception about lifting too, is when they think of lifting, they think of deadlifting 350 pounds.
Yeah.
No. There are so many different ways to lift and add those type of workouts, and it doesn't have to be being intimidated or lifting 100, 150 pounds at a time.
Not at all. So Carly and I are going to break this up a little bit, and we did our own research.
What?
Carly didn't share with me anything she was reading or doing.
Well, good for us, because we did opposite things.
We did do opposite things. My intention was to look into specific weight training. However, what I looked into was I listened to Mel Robbins' podcast.
Mel, how's she doing?
Melly R's doing real well.
Okay? Does she even know about us?
We're besties. We talk all the time. Every Monday and Thursday when she drops an episode.
Monday and Thursday?
Yeah, they do.
Damn.
Yeah.
Melly.
She's a whole team editing. She has a studio called 143 Studios, and she's got 1,000,000 women on her side.
Same.
Yes. Listen to this title of this episode.
Can't wait.
The science of strength training. Learn how lifting weights, even light ones, helps you lose weight, feel better, and live longer.
That's the title.
That's the title.
Now I don't feel so bad about our titles.
I know. We could probably do a little more.
Yeah.
So it's this conversation with Dr. Gabrielle Lyon, and she wrote this book called Forever Strong, and I highly recommend everybody go check it out. And she's an expert in nutritional science, and the whole conversation was about the importance of what we're going to talk about today. However, most of the talk was about protein, and I think that's really important. Hey, AJ, what's up, girl? Because AJ is someone that came to us and was like, I want to increase my protein and I want to increase my muscle mass and all this stuff. So it's so important to even know that. So kudos to you. And
I want to change that.
I want to change that. Yeah, I think that's probably the hardest part.
Because when people think protein, which I know we've talked about before, they think meat. It's not.
No. And the way I want to talk about protein really quickly before Carly gets into some really interesting stuff is not how do we get protein in our body. It's the reason why. That's what we're going to talk about right now. The reason why. So here's how to break down how protein affects muscle mass and how we can and what affects protein. So basically, those amino acids, we did an episode about amino acids. They make protein. Okay? So protein's made up of 20 of them. And the way that they broke it down, I really like, but I'm going to put my own flair on it.
Oh, yeah. It's going to involve like the moon and yoga.
No, it's going to involve Legos.
So
God.
different.
So if you think of protein as the car that you're going to build
Okay.
of the Lego set, like you open the box and you're like, this is a car that I'm going to build. And if you think of one piece of that car is a protein, so the hood of the car that you're going to build is the protein, a piece of the protein. Well, all the little blocks that make the hood of the car, that one little page you have to put all together, those are the amino acids.
Okay.
So the Legos of the amino acids make the hood of the car, and there's the piece of protein. Now look at the entire structure of the car that you're building. That's a muscle.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Mental.
So your bicep, let's pull it down even more. Your bicep
is like the door.
is the whole car. Think of your whole bicep muscle like a big cutlet, right? That is the entire car.
Okay.
The little pieces that make up the car, the hood, the wheels, the windshield, the seats, they're pieces of protein.
Got it.
And what make up those pieces of protein are the little Lego pieces that you have to organize and put together, and they're the 20 amino acids.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Very much so.
Awesome.
Love a good Lego analogy.
So the reason it's broken down that way is that we know protein is for well, hopefully we know protein is for muscle.
If you don't, you do now.
You do now. And carbohydrates are for energy.
Oh.
So before you
I know that.
this.
I was saying that for the people that think carbs are just fat.
Oh, yes, true.
I was acting. I was using my
Oh.
degree. Ooh. Not well, I guess.
Well, you get a call back.
Okay.
We'll see what happens there. So the protein has the most value to our body, adding proteins. We also can't make it.
Yes, I did know that.
You did know that.
I did know that.
It's a essential macronutrient, and we cannot make it naturally in our body. We have to eat it. We have to eat it to put protein in. We can make carbs and we can make fats, but we cannot make protein. So it is vital to add protein to your body, especially if you want to care about your muscles. So here is something that I actually didn't know. I thought the answer of this was skin.
Okay, well, let me guess.
Okay. Well, I don't know how to structure it where you don't know how to get skin.
Well, it's not skin.
It's not
okay.
skin.
Okay.
The largest organ in the body.
I would say skin. Is it not?
It's the skeletal muscle system. Our skeletal muscle is the largest organ in the body.
So we've been lied to. I feel like I was taught that the largest organ is your skin.
I mean, I agree. That's what I was taught. I keep reading that is not actually true.
So basically, it's the skeleton covered with muscle. That is the large, like when you see in science books, like the muscular body.
Yeah.
There's like no face though, and
Yeah.
it's just like the muscles outlined.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
That's our skeletal muscle system.
Okay.
Every muscle that we have in the body is connected, and that's the largest organ in the body.
So when my muscle almost snapped, my calf muscle, that would have been a muscle
Snap.
snapping or breaking apart and not being connected. And that would have been horrible to put back together.
That would have been an unhealthy muscle system, yes.
Just wanted to clarify.
This is amazing. Yes, that is true. Don't do that.
Okay. I didn't. I almost did, but I didn't.
So what's important for this largest organ system in the body, i.e. just muscle and muscle mass, is dietary protein that we cannot create ourselves. We have to take in, okay? We have to eat it. So I think another misconception that we all have is that the more protein you eat, the bigger you're going to get.
Yeah.
The more weight you're going to gain. What they said was that is scientifically impossible. Now, pair this with a healthy diet and eating the correct amount of calories for your body and for yourself. But if you break down the macros to the protein intake per breakfast, per lunch, per dinner, you will lose fat and you will gain muscle. Because what the protein does in the body is that it starts to metabolize into muscle. Muscle and protein eat away at the fat. So the higher protein intake you can give yourself, you're building muscle and burning the fat away.
Got it.
That makes sense?
Yeah, no, it does.
And I just, that is something, because if you look at the formula, if you do a formula, it's like your body weight and your height and all these things to create how much grams of protein that you need a day. You're like, oh my God, I can't eat that much. Like that seems like a lot. It's really not. It's just whole food, high efficiency protein. So if you're a meat eater or not.
I have always had a problem with, not always, but since I lost a lot of weight, I've had a problem with that. And our brother, who we already talked about, Billy, will constantly text and call me and say, you need to eat more protein. You're not eating enough protein. Yeah. I can see it in your pictures that you're posting. You're not eating enough protein. Yeah. And I'm like, leave me alone. I know what I'm doing. As I'm like doubling my protein. I'm like, whatever, Billy, shut up. But because I grew up in my head going, eating less, lose more weight. Now, I am better now.
Because that's what we were bred to know.
So as I'm learning through losing weight, gaining weight, the protein is like the powerhouse. What is that? The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the body. I don't know where that came from.
Because my gosh, I feel like we had to sing it in a song. We were drilled into our head.
I'm just like, that just came out of nowhere. But I wish that it was drilled into teenagers, like the importance of healthy eating and the amount of protein you should be eating and the amount of healthy fats. Like, I wish something like that had just popped into my head.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Because we didn't learn that kind of stuff in school.
No.
And, I'm lucky that I have somebody that's like, you need to eat this amount of protein for the amount of this you work out. Not everybody has that.
Well, exactly. And what's interesting is that they kind of talked about this in the podcast episode where this highly acclaimed doctor was telling Mel Robbins that protein is a little bit controversial. And she was like, why? She was like, honestly, I'm not sure because these are the facts and this is what it is. And Mel Robbins was like, so TikTok influencers are just telling a different story.
Right.
She was like, yes. And it's really hard to get the masses to read a book or to talk to an official than look at social media.
Because it's so much easier to watch what I eat in a day.
Which is
not true.
Ridiculous.
They make those, just as a heads up, they make those videos and they a lot of the times don't actually eat that. So those are fake.
Have you ever seen the videos of them lifting like a weight, but the moment is them spraying themselves with water because they're creating sweat and they're only doing one rep for the video.
Right, because if you had them do their entire set, they wouldn't be able to do it.
Because it's not what they do.
Right.
Yeah. Don't even get us started. Don't get us started.
Don't even get us started.
Yeah, I like how you said it. So what I found really fascinating, and I'm almost done, was that we have the largest like obesity epidemic in the United States. Or the world, but what they talked about was the United States, which makes a lot of sense because if you go to a restaurant, our portion sizes, what we're offering, it's all it's almost humorous. Like when I went to Italy, their American, I will never forget those like chalkboards you put on the sidewalk to like
Yeah.
show what the specials of the day are or whatever. We'd go looking for breakfast for them, which is like not close to the same as ours, but what their conception of American eating is, their one meal. Like, come and get this American breakfast. It was pancakes, it was eggs, it was French toast, it was bacon, it was a muffin, all in one plate. Like, all at the same time. Like, get all of these things for 10 euros.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, that's what they think we eat every day. But I really actually think a lot of people eat
A
like
lot
that.
of people do.
And so we have this obesity problem. And what you think when you hear that is like, lose more weight. Lose more weight. The problem is overeating. The problem is eating poorly. And yes, while that's true, the problem wasn't the too much fat. There was a study. Hold on. There was a study that they did. And the problem wasn't that there was people with too much fat on them. It was that they had an unhealthy skeletal muscle.
Oh.
And the unhealthy muscle system, which basically means either not enough muscle or unhealthy muscles where you couldn't lift things due to not using them. If you lose it.
No, if you don't use it, do you lose it? Thank you, 40-Year-Old Virgin. Best movie ever.
Yes. Answer is yes. And that was the main problem of Alzheimer's, of brain illnesses, of obesity. It wasn't just fat.
Mm-hmm.
It was the muscle, which I found fascinating. And it's all tied together. If you're not eating well, you're going to gain fat. And then the more you do that, you are not building your muscle and you're deteriorating your muscle. And the more yo-yo dieting that you do, it's harder to gain muscle mass after yo-yo dieting for years. Yes. Especially as you get older as well. So the more you've yo-yo dieted in your life, as your age number goes up, it gets really hard to kind of correct all the things that you did in the decades before.
That's cool.
Yeah. I was like, wow, you're talking to me. Nice.
Yeah, but luckily we fixed it. And
yeah, but it's harder. At 35, trying to do it is different than 30.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that.
My last thing of protein importance is that protein provides the muscle with nutrients. Muscles are nutrient sensors.
Hold on. Muscles are nutrient sensors.
So if you think of your muscle having like the what's it called? A metal detector? It metal detects for nutrients.
Okay.
And then takes the nutrients. And that's every muscle in our body does that. So the more
I'm visualizing it.
Yeah. And it's all like beep.
Yeah, like
beep,
at a beach.
Beep, 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 beep,
yeah. But it's your body.
But it's your body. I don't know why I said it like that.
You just sounded like Jennifer Coolidge. But it's your body.
That is your body. Oh my God, I love her. So yeah, our muscle sensors can detect the protein quality and the quality of your diet, and that's what they take in. So if we're putting in chips and pretzels and sugar and muffins early morning, then you're setting yourself up for years and years and years of either unhealthy muscle or a lot harder to gain it. However, it's never too late to start.
No, and we'll talk about that too, but also just because it's a cheeseburger like McDonald's, that's not healthy protein. So I actually don't think there's any protein in that patty. Meat? Yeah, it's mystery meat. So you also have to be careful of what the protein is. Like a protein bar, not always good.
No,
so
don't get fooled.
When people say, oh, but I'm going to up my protein, I'm going to add this protein bar, you got to look what's into it because it's a lot of sugar most of the time. And that's not really what Victoria's talking about.
No. I'm talking about whole proteins, whether you are a meat eater or plant proteins, if you are a vegetarian or vegan, because I know I said this is the last thing, but this is really the last thing. Injury or illness. I actually didn't know this. Injury or illness in the body, our body relies on pulling help from our muscles. So the more muscle you have, the more healthy muscle you have, the better to fight and ward off any injury or disease, basically, that we have.
I didn't know that, but I do know that our chiropractor, who we love, did say that it's a lot easier for you and I to recover from an injury because we never stop moving. Once you stop,
Yeah.
it is so much harder to recover. Not saying you should push through an injury. We don't have a choice. We have to a lot of the time. But he says that's okay. I mean, depending on the injury,
Yeah.
because our muscular body, our bones, our everything is a lot easier to recover when you keep moving. And basically, we'll just go right back into place a lot faster than somebody that does not move at all.
Think of it like this. That car made of Legos that we talked about with muscle mass and proteins and BCAAs. The injury or the illness takes some of the Legos out of the wheels. So someone who doesn't move often or hasn't started yet or just doesn't do weight training, it's going to take a lot for you to get those Lego pieces back to replace the Lego pieces that you lost. And that is where our muscles, they kind of repair themselves because you're going to put more protein in and replenish. So our cars of Legos are going to get those Lego pieces back because we are constantly taking care of the car.
Yeah. And like, what is it called? Rejuvenating them, or when they
Replenish.
Yeah, replenishing them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was an R word.
It was a good word.
Nice.
So food is medicine. Weight training is medicine. And hopefully we can learn that that's the way to go first before you need to really take actual medicine.
Well, the reason Victoria's talking about that and why she went down that rabbit hole was because protein is directly linked to lifting.
Yes.
And a lot of the time it's in a negative way. In your mind, that's not true at all.
No.
So that's why she went down that road first. Now we're going to talk about, I do want to start off with telling you the difference, because I think you all think it's the same thing and it's not. The difference between weightlifting and bodybuilding.
Oh,
It
talk
is
about it.
Two different things.
Yeah.
Weightlifting, which is what we do at CFIT, and which I'm sure a lot of you do, focuses on improving functional fitness, physical performance, and overall strength and muscular tone. That is what weightlifting does. We're going to talk about the benefits of weightlifting too, but that's what it does. Bodybuilding is designed to increase your muscular growth and shape of your muscles. It's designed to grow. It's designed to get bigger. That is what bodybuilding does. We don't do bodybuilding.
No.
You have to follow a rigid program. You have to build, you have to cut, you have to do all of these things. That is not weightlifting.
It's not sustainable either. So think about what we do in class. If you take any type of weight dumbbell class, you do a snatch, right? So a snatch bends at your legs, you pull the weight up, you lift the weight over your head. What is that really doing? It's helping you lift the heavy bags of groceries off the floor and putting them on the counter.
Wait, have you ever seen the Instagram reel?
No.
I know it's not cool to watch Instagram reels. That's like for old people, but
I think your voice was not cool there either, but that's okay.
it's somebody doing a snatch and then somebody putting something on the top shelf of the cabinet.
Yeah.
And it's somebody doing an upright row and it's somebody picking up a baby.
Yes.
And it split screens
Yep.
the weightlifting versus the
I love that.
the functional life fitness move.
Yeah,
I'll find it and we'll
that's
post it.
awesome. That's
Mhm.
exactly what we do at CFIT. That's what we lift. We lift for functional movement.
So there's a 70 or 80-year-old doing it. And it's like, I do this and it's deadlift with 2 dumbbells. So I can pick up my pencil off the floor and it's her picking up her pencil.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool
That's brilliant.
reel. Yeah.
That's exactly why. That's the whole reason.
That is weightlifting. That is functional fitness for physical activity in your daily life to maintain muscle mass, which is what you want to do as you get older. That's why we love the ages that we have at CFIT. We go from 16 to our aunt is 77.
Yeah.
And she's lifting weights with us and dancing every day because she wants to maintain her bone health, her osteoporosis. That's what she wants to do.
She touches the floor and I'm like, but I'm so tired today. And she will slam down and do it quicker than I can with the tempo. And I'm like, okay, Vic,
I know.
let's do it.
Because she wants to be able to pick up that pencil off the floor when she's 85.
Yeah, and she does.
And she does.
She still can. So
So here are some of the benefits, and there are just so many benefits to weightlifting, but here are some of them. It's to increase muscle strength and tone. It's exactly what it means. You want to increase your muscle, that muscle structure, the biggest organ in the body, we just learned. You want to increase that and keep it healthy.
Yeah.
Along with those proteins, you have to lift weights to do that. Then you want to improve your metabolism and fat burning. So with weightlifting, there's a difference. In cardio, you are burning calories and it's happening at that time.
Right.
You are burning the calories in real time.
In the moment.
Right. With weightlifting, you're burning calories. Sure, you're not going to get as many, even though you feel like you're about to die.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're going to be burning calories throughout the day.
Right.
And that helps with your metabolism.
Yeah.
And that's how you lose weight. Yeah.
It's long lasting.
Mm-hmm. It enhances bone health. And this is absolutely, we just said it, is crucial for women dealing or who want to prevent with osteoporosis. We've said this before, that pounding, now it's the good pounding, the good jumping, actually improves your spine. It improves your spine. It straightens your spine. People think, oh, you guys jump too much, you lift too heavy, which we do not lift too heavy.
Oh, gosh.
For real. But that all deals with the prevention of osteoporosis. And it's so important for women, you know, that are a little bit older, but it starts in your 20s.
But I was just going to say, you want to know about this now, wherever your age you are in, to start today.
It increases joint stability and flexibility. If you have the proper form and technique, which is very important because if you're doing it wrong, it could hurt you. But if you're doing it correct, it is so beneficial to your flexibility. You think it hinders you and it tightens up your muscles, but it actually doesn't.
No, that's the delayed onset muscle soreness. That's DOMS. And that is just the lactic acid from your muscles releasing and creating that like pain. So the more you move through it, the better it will be and it will dissipate quicker. The more you think, oh, I'm getting so stiff because of this, so I'm going to sit down, the more it builds up and makes you feel like that for longer.
This one I loved because I wouldn't think of this, but it actually is really important. It increases positive body image and self-confidence.
Oh, that's huge.
When you crush a goal, when you're like, oh my gosh, I just went up from 8 to 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Or even from 5 to 8 pounds.
Yeah.
You're like, yes.
In weight, in dumbbells.
Weight, yeah.
In dumbbells.
You're so happy and you're like, man, I crushed that goal. What can I do in the next month or so?
It's a motivator for sure.
Not week or so, month or so.
Right.
Couple months. Weightlifting is the long game.
With a consistency.
Yeah, it's a long game. But that is very important. Positive body confidence is super important. It reduces stress and improves mental well-being. I mean, come on.
It's like, well, it's endorphins. Endorphins make you happy, right? So lifting does all of that. And so what does that do? That brings it to the brain. So the more you're putting good food in your body that's building these muscles and then you're training your muscles, it's all going to your mindset of wanting to continue the good vibe, to be honest with you.
The last one that I absolutely love, which we touched on, it prevents injuries. So those normal mundane tasks like picking up a toddler who's about 55 pounds and not throwing your back out because you know how to properly use your legs. Don't put it in your back. You're squatting basically. It prevents an injury that otherwise you would get hurt. Gardening is a big one. And if not
toddler, the really heavy Amazon box on your front porch.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah.
That's not even funny.
That's why I said it.
That's not even funny.
I wasn't trying to be funny. I was being serious.
I know we have some gardeners that come to CFit.
Oh, that's so tearing.
It's on your lower back.
Wear and tear.
But if you know how to bend, if you know how to reach, and if you daily, bi-daily?
If you daily.
No, bi-weekly. No,
bi-weekly.
No. If you work out daily.
Oh.
If you work out daily, all of the weightlifting and cardio that you do will help in preventing injuries, which is, I mean, isn't that what we all want?
I would say that's number one, and everything else is bonus.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, because as you get older, injury just gets a lot easier to do. But if you can prevent it by getting the proper protein in and building and resistance training, oh my God.
So here, I know Victoria said we use cardio to lose weight. Yes, cardio will never go out of style. Lifting
You have
will
to mix.
never go out of style.
You have to
have
mix.
to do both.
You have to do both. Cardio is for your heart health, and weight training is for your body health.
Cool. Cardio improves your heart health
Oh,
and burns more calories than weightlifting alone. But together, they make the perfect pair. Thank you.
that was such a good tip. Good job. I really like it.
I hate you.
I like how you said it too.
I wrote that down and you just totally stole my.
I blew up your spot.
Yeah. We're going to talk about the decades. Yeah. And why it's important in your 20s, in your 30s, in your 40s, in your 50s, in your 60s. I mean, I could go on and on and on. Why it's so important to lift weight in those decades. In your 20s. If you're in your 20s and you don't exercise, you need to start now.
Mm-hmm.
I did not. I danced. And while, yes, we danced a lot, I did not weight lift. I did not weight train. I did a lot of body exercises, but not really fitness related.
Which is still strength training, right? To leap
Oh,
off
yeah.
the floor using your muscles, to roll on the ground and get back up. It's just not, it's not a targeted muscle
Right.
mass thing.
And everything that I read and everywhere that I researched said, please, we beg this generation to start weightlifting and doing cardio in your 20s because you will be thanking yourself
Yeah.
in your 70s.
Yeah.
And people in their 70s now, they just didn't do that.
That women
Yeah.
did not.
No.
No. That was, I think mom used to tell us all the time that our aunts would be like, ew, Carmela, your arms are so cut. You look like a man.
Yeah, like her muscles.
Because she had like definition in her muscles because she was a dancer and she was vigorously working her body. And that was like not cool in
I
the
know.
70s.
So I'm going to say something controversial in this room, only in this room. Well, probably to other people too. I know you don't like the Kardashians, but I very much appreciate that they have made the body shape popular. Not as
No.
extreme as they are because we all know that it's fake, but that it's okay to have bigger legs.
Curvy.
It is okay to have,
I agree.
it's fine.
And they're working out on camera.
Yeah, of course. They do work out a lot, but they're making the body shape that's not flat in the front and flat in the back
Yeah.
okay. And now a lot more people are okay with that body shape going a little too far to emulate it because, again, they're not real, but
Right.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I agree. I think, well, they came out in like the early 2000s,
Yeah.
right? So before that was the 90s, and the 90s was skin and bones. That
Yeah.
was the trend.
Was it cocaine chic?
Cocaine chic.
Mhm.
Oh my God. That's disgusting.
I know.
But that's what it was.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
And I hope we never go back to that.
I don't think we will.
Yeah.
I don't think we will. And I agree. I think the Kardashians put it mainstream to
And J-Lo.
be allowed to be curvy and love yourself and, showcase it. And I think that's a big factor. I agree.
So if you haven't started doing anything yet in your 20s, the first thing we have to say is go out for a walk.
I thought you were going to say if you haven't started watching the Kardashians,
No.
you got to start.
No.
Don't do that.
No, if you haven't started anything, your number one thing to do is, number one, look us up online. Come to our class if you're local. Number
Super fun.
two, go for a walk. These hot girl walks are really popular. Take one of them. When you're in your 30s, your body starts to lose muscle mass at a rapid pace.
Yeah.
Why? A lot of people are having kids. You stop working out.
Mm-hmm.
Models and celebrities that say that they got back into shape from running after their kids are lying to you.
Yeah.
You do not build muscle from running around your kids. It's impossible.
No, you have to weight train. You have to actively keep it up.
And it says, especially for women that have just had kids or getting back into working out, lifting is the number one thing you should add, as well as cardio, but they say lifting first to get those muscles back especially if you've had a C-section, back to where they're supposed to be.
Right.
But you need to make sure that you're doing the right and correct way. So sometimes when women are working out at home, it's a little more difficult because you don't have somebody there telling you that you're doing it improperly and you could hurt yourself. I love a good at-home workout, but just make sure that you're doing it the right way. In your 40s, a lot of injuries happen in your 40s. That's what they say.
Can't wait.
You are put at a greater risk of osteoporosis.
Yeah.
Have you not been working out in your 40s, those Amazon boxes and kids being picked up are definitely going to come back to haunt you. And those are the little injuries that all create the bigger problem.
Right.
The more you injure yourself, the longer you're out. The longer you're out, the harder it is to get back into your workout routine.
Right.
So that's why it's so important to start sooner. Because the sooner you start, then it's daily.
But if you're in your 40s and we haven't started, today's a great day to do it.
Yeah. I got really excited about that. Yeah, today's a good day. Really quickly, going back, in your 20s, 30 minutes of weight training followed by 30 minutes of cardio is what they recommend. Then between 30 and 45 is 45 minutes of weightlifting and 60 minutes of cardio.
You just had a lot of numbers.
Okay. In your 20s, 30-30. Think about that.
Okay.
30-30. 30 minutes of weight training, 30 minutes of cardio.
Okay.
That's like what they recommend for people starting out in your 20s.
Perfect.
Okay. 30s to 40s, up it. 45 minutes of weight training,
Okay.
60 minutes of cardio.
Got it.
I like that.
We're glad that you approve.
In your 50s, your metabolism starts to slow down.
Yes.
We all know that. Premenopause, menopause starts to happen, and everyone says, and I guarantee you've heard it before, it went from 0 to 60. It used to be easy, and now all of a sudden it's like, why even try? Because it's so hard to get into weightlifting. But if you continue to do it, it won't be as hard.
Right.
But again, today's a good day to start. The average weight gain in your 50s is about 12 pounds if you do not have an exercise routine.
Right.
And that's true. And you get the hunched over shoulders
Yes.
from osteoporosis, maybe, or sitting over a desk a lot of the time and not having that proper form of weight training where your shoulders are lifted back. So if you're not used to doing that, it says start now and you will see a complete difference. Yes, it's going to be hard. Everything's always hard when you start.
Yeah.
But just because you're in your 50s does not mean you cannot start lifting weights.
I heard that a pre-menopausal or post-menopausal or in the middle of the whole thing, if you swap out your breakfast for 30 to 50 grams of protein in your breakfast, if you swap out that cereal or whatever you're eating right now for 30 to 50 grams of protein in just your breakfast, you will change your body composition, meaning you will lose weight. And if you're adding weights, you will tighten it all up.
Mm-hmm.
And that is like the bare minimum of change that you would need to do.
That's good to know.
Yeah. To avoid that 12-pound gain, that's not that hard.
So in your 50s, they suggest you do 30 minutes of weightlifting, which is great, and 40 minutes of cardio.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. In your 60s, problems like arthritis, osteoporosis, bad knees, spinal issues, which is an osteoporosis problem. They say resistance training and weightlifting is the number one thing you should be doing in your 60s, and to not overlook it because exercises get hard. Look for modifications.
Mm-hmm.
But lifting weights, even if it's 2 pounds, even if you're only lifting 2 pounds, soon you won't be lifting 2 pounds. You'll be lifting 5 pounds.
Yeah.
It's not about the weight. It's about the exercise and the functional movement. So even in your 60s, if you feel like, we're in our 30s, oh, I couldn't possibly do their weightlifting class. They're lifting 15 pounds, which it's only 15 pounds. But to you, starting out in your 60s might feel like a mountain, right? Come and do 2 pounds.
Yeah.
And do everything we're doing. Do no weight. Start out with no weight. Do body weight. So it's very, very important that even if you haven't started in your 60s, to start.
We have women that come to class that do that.
Yes. We just had a woman recently come at 67. She's starting at 67.
Yep.
And we welcome that because why shouldn't she start at 67?
It's incredible,
Yeah.
first of all.
That's great. in your 60s, it says 30 minutes of weightlifting and 25 minutes of cardio.
Really?
Yeah.
Higher weight, lower cardio.
Mhm.
All right.
So if you are in any of those decades, basically overall, you should be weightlifting and doing cardio.
I mean, that's layman's terms.
And if you are in any of those ages and you haven't started, today is a good day.
Yeah. It's never too late. It is a forever medicinal healing aspect of our lives to gain muscle or just keep the muscle healthy. I think even the word gain scares people.
I know.
I know. I don't know, but I know.
Yeah.
Like I don't agree.
Well, we know that they know they know.
They-
But
I'm going to leave with one little quote from this conversation that I listened to because I think it says a lot. If we stop looking at how much fat I need to lose as the concept and start asking how much muscle I need to gain, it gets a little bit easier.
Mhm.
Because it's not about I need to lose weight. It's hard to lose fat. This whole thing is hard. That is demotivating. That is not going to keep you going. And then you start to think, I'm not good enough for this. I'm
Mhm.
worthless. I can't even start. I can't keep it consistent.
you give up too quickly.
And you give up on yourself.
Yeah.
But if we can change that thought process to how much muscle mass can I gain, a little bit at a time.
Who doesn't like to get stuff?
Right.
Who doesn't like to gain
Let's talk about this haul.
confidence and muscle mass? Like, let's get it.
But it's so true because that's what really happens. And it's like internal. The change that you have to do is internal. I don't mean mental. I mean the skeletal muscle system. That is where the change needs to happen. And then it melts away at the superficial stuff that you're really seeing in the mirror. You're not looking in the mirror and being like, I wonder what my muscles look like today. Like, that's not what anyone's doing. Us included. We're not doing that.
I wish people would focus, and I think we're getting better at that as the whole, about getting stronger and less cocaine chic.
Right.
Getting stronger and going to the gym and not think about losing something, but thinking about gaining strength, gaining positive body image, gaining muscle. And I think as a generation, we're getting better at that, but I don't think we're there yet.
It's like when you make a resolution, which we've debunked the word resolution.
Right. Yeah.
But like when you make those goals at New Year, instead of like, what can I take out from my life? It's, well, what can I add?
Mm-hmm.
What can I add and make it different than start restricting myself, which never lasts?
I constantly hear the women that come to our class that are in their 60s that say, I can't wait for you all to be in your 60s and you're doing what you're making us do. And guess what? We will be.
Yeah.
Because we started when we started. But also, I look at those women in their 60s and I'm like, damn, look what we're making them do. And they're doing
And
it.
they're doing it.
And they're doing it. And you can too.
Yeah.
So, but you got to start today. No matter what age, you have to start today. But you can do that too.
If this is the kick in the pants that you didn't know you needed to hear, or you feel like this is resonating with you and we are speaking directly to you right now, wherever you are listening to us, today is the day. Schedule the class, schedule the trainer, get some weights in your hands. The minimum you need is 2 days a week of weights. 2 days to start seeing change in about 6 to 8 weeks, in addition to the protein intake and, eating healthy. But 2 days a week of adding weights to your life is the minimum you need. And if you can dedicate a little bit of time and prioritize yourself that way, you are never going to want to stop.
Right. It becomes a really, really healthy way to live your life.
Yes. So we're talking to you. It is
You.
Whether you're 20 years old or 70 years old, we are talking to you. Get it done. And that is your real tip and your real extra tip. Today is the day to start, whether you're listening to this on the Monday we drop it or within that week. Every day is a good day to start.
Boom.
So, I really like this episode. I think I'm took a lot of good stuff away from it.
Well, yeah, it's really important.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah. You ended it on a great note. I just want to add that it does take time. and it's not a quick fix, and it's not one of those things where in 2 weeks you say, I don't see any results. You got to keep going. It's, again, the long game.
No, about 6 to 8 weeks to see visual results if you are eating healthy and adding 2 weights a week into your daily routine.
And also, like, the long game, like when you're 70, you're still going to be reaping the benefits of what you started today.
And you know what? One thing I did forget to say is that the most recommended way to get weights in just happens to be the CFIT way. But it's multi-joint workouts.
Okay.
Multi-joint workouts, which is a full body workout. You're getting arms in, you're getting legs in, you're getting abs in, you're getting that bend to stand in, you're getting on the floor, off the floor, all of the things with probably a little bit of a heart rate spike. So there's some cardio in there too when it comes to the weights that I'm talking about. But that full body multi-joint workout is the best way to get it done. Because I also think what scares people is they're like, oh, I'm going to go to the gym, but I don't know what, should I do bis and tris and then lats and traps? And that, it's like, that's so, I think that is a little bit more of the muscle building.
Right.
What did you say?
Bodybuilding.
Bodybuilding. Yeah. You don't need to do all that. You can get to a class or work out, yourself, full body. And that's the way to really, really expedite the process of getting into it and keeping it healthy.
Just don't be scared. Don't be scared.
It's not that hard.
It's not that hard.
Don't be scared. With that, we want you to remember that wherever you are in this version of yourself right now in time, you are always fit to be real.
And always allowed to be a little extra.
For legal reasons, we have to tell you that this podcast is meant for entertainment and educational purposes only. We are not healthcare professionals. For all of your health, wellness, fitness, and self-care needs, please refer to the medical professional in your life, your primary care physician, your therapist, a certified coach, whoever it may be. And then let us know what they say, because I guarantee we need to know it too. Okay? Okay, bye.